flat out. And I think we can just drive over there. So that's looking close to 2 full loads of thing. Whatever this is, oats. I'm not sure. It's definitely more than we can get in both trailers. We will have some barley. Okay. Now this field I am going to have to do myself. Yield, actually the yield does not look totally garbage. Obviously the line was missed. We can now look at the environmental score on that. So it's up to 80. So we now have good nitrogen, good weeds, good thing. Don't know what the bottom one is. Tillage. So tillage will be fixed when we plant. And then pH will not be fixed until the next harvest, so long as we remember to put the lime down. So that field is partially fixed. This field will get fixed as soon as we harvest this field. That will pop up to maximum. Same again with this portion, and this is the top half of this field. Bottom half is all done. This got ploughed, so it has never been harvested. This was trees last year, I believe. Okay, I don't need to be pushing that button. Let's get back to here. Taylor, good morning. Welcome to Saturday. And let's everybody breathe in so we can get through the gap. So this one I'm doing 2 headlands. This is barley, good. And then we're going to come in with the mowing kit and whole crop silage this entire field. I could go 1 headland, but actually this field is small enough that maybe 1 headland is a good plan. And the reason I'm doing that is because if I get too close to the edge of the field, then my whole crop will be adulterated by grass. So I want to have a little bit of a buffer between grass and crop to do this. Maybe we'll just do the 1. I don't need the barley. It's just going to go straight down to the grain mill and become more flour. And we did quite well last year by doing grain contracts and dropping the excess down at the grain mill. A lot of them had to be delivered to the grain mill, so it was deliver it to the grain mill, and then as you're tipping the last load, you get credited for 2,000, 3,000 extra grains in the mill itself. The farm is doing brilliant. We are doing our 5th year harvest, so everything is good. We purchased 2 fields last year, which are just coming up to production standard now in time for next year's harvest. So looking ahead. New PC. Where did you go for your PC? Got mine from Digital Storm, and it's served well, although we have had a couple of issues. The HDDs failed on both of them, which I'm not impressed with. because we lost Oakfield Farm halfway through the series and had to completely reset it. And Mrs. Osa lost her SSD last year. I was going to pour myself a drink. Best Buy. Now, I don't have a problem with Best Buy. Previous years, I've done that. Normally, we don't get the bestest of the best. Since I started with PCs back in the 90s, $1,000 would buy you a reasonably decent PC. And if you did that every 3 or 4 years, it was definitely better than the one you were playing with up until that point. So I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just that last time we just decided, hey, we're going to get ourselves a really nice PC each, and went for something a little bit more significant than $1,000 for a PC. We got this PC back when we were playing Lawful. So just as I started streaming, I got this PC. And apart from replacing the SSD, it's still perfectly adequate. Wow, you nearly filled up the tank. It's perfectly adequate for the job of playing Farm Sim and streaming at the same time. We did get a cheaper one for, Teenage Osa, and it doesn't have an SSD, and it's really noticeable. It takes significantly longer to boot up. Okay, so this is... Hello. Tell me how much oats I have. There we go, 37,000. Okay, I am going to swing over to this guy. And I can set this guy mulching that field we've just completed. 72 hours. That's an old tractor. It sounds like a good build, I must admit. I'm looking at this thing, and we're definitely getting to the outer edge of there are some games that are being released that I can probably still play, but I couldn't consider streaming. At least not at a good resolution. Okay, that thing's emptied. I'll run this down to the back corner. So the one problem with doing work with the Massey is I have to take the front loader off because it doesn't like the hedges. Alright, let's lower that, turn it on, and disappear in a cloud of dust. Good grief, I can't even see where I am. Okay. get as close to the edge as possible. Mulching doesn't add much to the yield, but it is of a limited benefit. Okay, let's turn that way. And try to straighten it up again, and go worker. Sorry? Come on. Do I have to do this myself? That's going to be a pain. Oh, it might be that that corner is already mulched. Yes, okay. Not a total disaster, actually. This is the tractor we need next. Inside. Okay, get that emptied. So that's the barley, and I'll throw that in the same in the silo. So we also have these 3 fields need done as well. Those are the only 3. That's soybeans. That's soybeans. So what do we have? Other way. That looks like canola. That's a canola field, so that's a straight harvest. That's a straight harvest. That is also barley, which we're going to be whole crop silaging. So maybe Okay, the problem I have, I don't have a haulage tractor right now. So like I said, I do not have a haulage tractor right now if I'm starting whole crop silage. You're doing your thing. You're the thing I want. Okay, we'll go tip the barley. I would like to have a truck to haul. Especially, just from here to the store. Problem is all the trucks I've found do not have real weight limits. I am not 100% sure, but I think they do. Although they wouldn't be used for most of the tasks I've been using them for up to now, which is to mow the grass for product. It's just a handy thing. I do have loaded a couple more mulchers now, so I could make use of a more realistic mulcher. It's a really nice piece of kit for starting out. Oops, missed. Come on. Oh. Let's press the right button, then it'll work. Yay. And it happens to be mulcher that little thing can run. But we're kind of done with the grass cutting deal with that thing now. Okay, what are we going to do? I think for right now, we're going to... This needs to transfer over to the other farm. Actually, you know what? We could do that because I have a job. We're going to need to bring the John Deere back, so just kind of makes sense to do this all at the same time. So what's the other thing? I need the baler wrapper. That can go on the back of the Deutz. And then we can forage the barley. A little bit of an elevated seating position. I should probably put this in for a service too. And probably the header. It's actually not very old. It's a nice thing about buying a harvester used is they don't usually have serious amounts of hours on them, and you only use them for a couple of hours each year. So it's not like it's getting old quickly. Tractors, that's a completely different thing. You can start your farm with a very nice used tractor, bigger than you can really afford new. But if you do that, then you're kind of gonna be really hampered not too far into the game when the tractor starts getting to 50, 60 hours. And yes, I do have a thing there. Need to check on the header. Is that it's at 17% or it's taken 17%? Let's look at the trailer. That's damage 1%. Okay, so the header could probably do with a little bit of fixing. Still, stop that there. Oh, come on, detach. And go get the wrapper. And we have a lot of honey. So we do end up using the pottinger today. So there's 23% conditioned grass in there, that's no big deal. It should be set to wrap. Turn on automatic drop, turn on baler. Buttons to push. Not that button, but that button. There we go. So we've got the bale size set at 150. We can reset the bale counter. And don't need the crop sensors on. The worker will do automatic drop. So I want to turn off the help and let's get this hulking beast into the yard. So yeah, I think as we're harvesting now, we're now getting to the point where we are getting hampered by our tractors. We could use a third, fourth, another one. As we get bigger equipment, it's just a little bit more difficult to get all the jobs done in the timeliness that I want. Now, we already checked the store, so there was a New Holland T7 HD that came up for sale June April, May. Came up in May for 90,000 with GPS fitted. That would have been an awesome purchase. Just what I was looking for. Unfortunately, we just didn't have the money to afford it. And the next month, I think about 150,000, I could have got an 8,000 JCB. But again, it's, of course, you are having issues with cruise control because I set you to 12 kilometers an hour. But yeah, I can, you can, the tractors are coming up, it's just they're coming up at the wrong time. But I could use either something really, really big to complement this thing, or something a little bit smaller than the Deutz, and the Deutz can then start doing the really heavy work, or the heavier work. It's still not capable of doing mowing with this mowing kit. Okay, I'll pull this forward. Turn that's already on. So I need to lower the doodad, turn it on, and follow the John Deere. And then unfold, lower, turn on. Unfold lower and turn on. So this is actually, if you're using Maize Plus, this is the best way to get whole crop forage. The problem with the forage harvester is it doesn't make as much output as this thing does. Yield is not as good this time as it was last time. Why? Nitrogen is... did we forget to top up the nitrogen on this field? Oh, that's sad. No, the nitrogen is good. Or should I say the nitrogen is uniform. And the whole point there is what we're doing is stay away from the grass. Stay away from the grass. Okay, when we use the slurry tanker, it doesn't drop uniform nitrogen across the area of the field. So there is a little bit of discrepancy, but because we're going back with a sprayer to just finish it, that's coming up fine with what we're doing. What was I talking about? So yeah, the whole making sure you've got a good nitrogen coverage, because we're producing so much slurry and so much manure, we're just throwing that down on the field to get us in the ballpark of where we want to be, and then on top of that we're adding liquid fertilizer, which finishes up the stuff. Gets us to ideal for the crop that we've planted. Obviously, at this point, I throw manure out on this field, and the field is not going to be. Well, we're not going to be able to know how much to spread on it because it's we don't have a crop in it to gauge that with the crop sensors. But the inaccuracy of slurry or manure is fine because that gets tidied later. Going completely natural will leave you with an inaccurate field map of nitrogen. We might get to see that a bit later. So, I think because of the way we're set up right now, I probably want to do all of the barley fields. Get the bales wrapped so that we're ready for, so we get the whole crop as soon as we possibly can. Anyway. And as I said earlier, barley is the best crop for this because it yields the highest, and we're not really in this for the income. We're in this for the amount that's yielded. Okay. I think I've cut enough headlands that I can actually run up and down the field without a problem. We're going to have to come back with the baler to do the corners again. I should have done the GPS on this, but I didn't. We'll get this mowed. So actually I should jump out here. This is a bale owned by me. It's crop swath, so that will end up as whole crop silage once it's finished fermenting, which is good for the cow food robot. I'll wait till Mr. Deutz gets round the corner. Oh, do not lay that where I think you would go. Actually, you know what? I'm going to run in front of it because I can. Alright, we will just mow this by hand.